Align your intent with your soul's calling for an abundant, joyful life and blessings without limit. This is a feminine decree for reclaiming your power and authority over your body. This decree will communicate directly with your superconscious mind, your wise inner being, supporting your conscious intent to release all patriarchal control and influence over your body and femininity. Please listen in a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Let's begin. Breathe deeply and slowly through your nose. This will help focus your mind and shift the old energy. I call upon my superconscious to connect to the divine mother of unconditional love and grace. I declare, this is my new decree for a life of joy, wholeness, connection, peace and love. That is my birthright. I call upon Spirit, my I am presence, my superconscious, guides, light beings, ascended masters and angels, to be present and fully support my heartfelt intent to transition into the new paradigm of 5D peace and love as a high vibrational, open-hearted being of light that fully recognizes my sovereignty, mastery and divinity. Superconscious, I would like to connect with you now as I make this powerful, binding and lasting decree, all for my highest and best interest. Superconscious, to create a new life of heart-centered consciousness, I revoke the energetic signature of the patriarchal system with my conscious choice and intent. Superconscious, I declare my sovereignty and absolute power as a divine feminine being, and therefore ask that all old, patriarchal, disempowering core wounding, predispositions and beliefs be cleared from my entire being, subconscious, unconscious, chakra system, body and auric fields. Please bring resolution to shame, body dissociation, unworthiness, victim consciousness, inferiority, deprivation and inequality, and all toxicity of a similar vibration. I revoke all patriarchal systems in which my core wounding and DNA encoded status is defined and expressed in the form of undervaluing and undermining my humanity, power, self-respect and dignity. Superconscious, I revoke all body-shaming programs created by patriarchal core wounds that still influence my life by hooking me into low vibrational emotions of shame, resentment, humiliation, anger, rage, fear and sadness. I call back all the energy that was lost and stolen along my path to anyone or any difficult experience to be returned to me now, purified in the light of unconditional love. I revoke the mindset and perception that because I was wounded, there is now something wrong with me, that I am damaged and it is permanent. I decree this belief is now null and void, as I unreservedly adopt the mindset that I am a sovereign being with absolute divine gifted power to heal all shadows, creating a life of joy, peace, all aligned with heart-centered consciousness. I revoke all the times I dishonored my sacredness of my femininity by submitting my body to toxic masculinity and narcissistic abuse. In my misguided attempt at intimacy and authentic connection, I revoke all the core defining moments whereby I had no choice but to dissociate from my body to escape abusive experiences. In this lifetime, from conception and across all lifetimes, space, dimensions, and reality, I summon the infinite, everlasting love of the divine feminine as I decree, with the full power of my sovereignty and mastery, I am the alchemist of my body's healing, and therefore have absolute authority and ownership. I revoke and call back all the split and fragmented parts of my soul that I lost along my path to anyone or any experience, to be returned to me now by the light of divine grace. I decree that all fragmented parts are integrated back into my soul, and my life is an open and full expression of wholeness, well-being, peace, self-love, and authentic feminine power. I revoke all the times that I submitted my femininity and body to the criteria, standards, and ideals determined by a patriarchal system that was a construct created to oppose my power and authority as a feminine being. I revoke all the energy, denial, and mindset it took for me to unknowingly collude with a toxic system that overtly and covertly sought to control and have ownership over my body, rights, and power. I revoke all the self-criticisms and comparisons of my body that became so natural because of submitting to impossible standards imposed on me by the media that hooked me into feelings of shame and self-loathing. I revoke all the power that was forcibly stolen from me by the church and all elitist patriarchal institutions that seek to determine, define, and confine my sexual self-expression and power. I revoke all the derogatory and demeaning names that I embodied from this lifetime and all past lives that hook me into feelings of shame, diminishment, humiliation, guilt, fear, and sadness. I revoke all programming and predispositions within the beliefs I am powerless, I am inherently flawed, I am defective, and all toxic beliefs of a similar vibration resulting from persecution, abuse, degradation, and I revoke all patriarchal contracts from core wounding that elicit dissociation from my body and feminine power that required that I live in fear as a diminished version of myself for the sake of safety. I decree with the full power of my sovereignty and mastery, all contracts that require submission, dissociation, and rejection of my body and power are now null and void and no longer wield any influence over my life. I now declare that as a divine being of light, my essence is untouched by the gross density of the patriarchy. I revoke all patterns, false perceptions, and programming in my DNA, body, cells, chakras, and feminine center that patriarchal core wounding has defined who I am. I decree that by virtue of healing my wounds, I now purposefully define my absolute power through my courage, determination, resilience, wisdom, and healing potential with divine grace. This energetic signature of light will actively contribute positivity to the feminine collective and lead the way to create a heart awakening revolution for all those who seek a new earth. I revoke all judgments, vitriol, and criticisms from others about my body and fully own that I am the power and authority over my body, regardless of my current circumstances. I decree that my life is now lived within a paradigm of self-expression and self-acceptance, fully recognizing that through the separation consciousness of the old system, enough contrast and momentum was created for me to direct my life into aligned, heart-centered connections and unity consciousness. I revoke all low vibrational interferences and energies that seek to keep core wounds, programs, and disempowering beliefs active. I am wholeheartedly dedicated in my intent to grow and evolve without the need to have opposing conflicts and interferences to my spiritual light and feminine power. I revoke all the times that I mistakenly thought lust and malvalidation was love, and that my body was the totality of me and all I had to offer. I recognize that to believe this meant that I had to dissociate, deny, and forget my innate power and sovereignty. I decree, with the full power of the Divine Feminine Mother, that I am waking up to and owning the fullness, wholeness, and power of my absolute potential. I am an alchemist, transforming 3D density into the light of truth, and my worthiness as I now attract blessings without limit. I revoke the impossible, manufactured, idealized standards of beauty and body shape imposed on me by fashion, media, and film that has hooked me into feelings of self-loathing, self-diminishment, and body shaming. I decree with the full power of my sovereignty and mastery, I am the perfection of creation exactly as I am, and I alone define my ideal that is right for me. I decree my core wounding and trauma ends with me through the full power of my awakened awareness and passionate desire to heal and transcend my shadows, and is not energetically passed on through my words, beliefs, and emotions onto other women in my life and collectively. I trust that anything unlike love will arise for the purpose of healing, And I give thanks that my healing will end the cycle of female persecution for myself and the feminine collective within the light of grace from the Divine Mother. I decree that through my awakened state and healing, that the trauma of body dissociation and body shaming is transcended through me and will cease to exist as a karmic debt for women as we evolve into heart-centered consciousness. Clearing karma. Superconscious, I call upon Spirit and humbly request that karmic debts are paid and resolved within a paradigm of service to humanity, animals, and Gaia, and no longer repaid within the patriarchal system of feminine disempowerment. As my karma is cleared through service, my light expands exponentially and raises the vibration of my environment and the collective. I call upon Spirit and humbly request that karmic debts that contractually require body dissociation, body shaming and abuse, persecution, scarcity and limitation are paid and resolved within acts of kindness and service. Superconscious karmic debts require painful experiences depending on the severity of past deeds. This creates balance and offers appropriate compensation, but can keep the old patriarchal system active within the feminine psyche. Superconscious, I humbly request that karmic debts are negotiated with Spirit to fast-track karma, so I am not perpetually stuck in a self-defeating, negative cycle that requires years of unjust victimization, abuse, and suffering. I call upon the unconditional love of the Divine Feminine to invoke deep within my heart self-compassion and self-forgiveness for my self-defeating choices made as a direct consequence of patriarchal core wounding arising from shaming, abuse, control, dominance, coercion, manipulation, violence, and humiliation. I call on my guides and Spirit for support as I forgive myself for any self-defeating choices made in innocence and unawareness that cause the lowest toxic emotion of shame. I decree that all shame-based toxic imprints and discordant dense energies be cleared from my DNA and cells now, allowing me to embody more light for an energetic upgrade that is right for me at this time. This clearing process now facilitates the start of a new cycle of positive life experiences, together with the innate ability to make empowered choices from self-awareness and self-love. I call upon the unconditional love of the Divine Feminine Mother to clear all toxic patriarchal wounding and imprints from my DNA, chakra system, feminine center, body systems and brain systems, and fields. I call back and reclaim all the energy that was lost and stolen in this lifetime to anyone in any traumatic experience, to be returned to me now, purified in the light of unconditional love. I decree that a new positive paradigm begins for me now, that embodies my creative life force, and that is now becoming fully actualized within the 5D paradigm of my absolute potential and expansion, completely free and unhindered by the old patriarchal system. I decree by the full power of my sovereignty and grace, healing is my birthright, and that regardless of my current circumstances, I am purposefully moving forwards, trusting that the light of the divine truth will illuminate my path to freedom, joy, and blessings. I call upon the Divine Mother to clear all low vibrational interferences and energies that seek to keep these old patriarchal programs and beliefs active in my energy. I am dedicated in my intent to grow without the need to have opposing conflicts and obstructions to my spiritual light and authentic feminine power. I ask the divine to continually upgrade my energy as I enter a new paradigm of heart-centered empowerment for my evolution and for the evolution of the feminine collective and all those who seek a new earth. I decree that all toxic, low vibrational, disempowering patriarchal energies no longer hold any power or control over my existence. All density in all forms is now transformed by the alchemy of divine unconditional love. By the power of my sovereignty and mastery, I decree that I am an alchemist and openly embrace my divine feminine healing power to alchemize all dense, dark components and elements from my mind, body, and soul. I am the creator. I am truth. I am one with the divine feminine, and I am one with spirit. I am in full command of my authority and sovereignty as a masterful creator, and decisively choose a path of positivity, truth, and love. I recognize that as I purposefully choose the light will choose me, and this dynamic will add powerful momentum for the collective light of humanity to expand and evolve into heart-centered consciousness. Superconscious, the energetic essence of this decree, can now be evoked and reinforced upon command with the affirmation: I decree I am love's bodily perfection and expression. And so it is. Superconscious, this decree is absolute. In deepest gratitude,